Episode 2, The Journey. And look, we got a guest appearance! Woohoo! In 2016, Paola left her safe corporate job, we packed up the essentials, said goodbye to our beloved Portland, Oregon, and jumped on a plane bound for Medellin, Colombia. Once our feet hit the ground, we set up shop and I got busy once again making perfecto glass jewelry. Some may call this a leap of faith, but we call it a giant leap of 8. So today I have some questions for Pao. Wanted to know what were some of your concerns when back in Portland, when we had the life we had known for quite some time. It was quite predictable and had a great job. And so what were some of your concerns before you stepped off that precipice? Well, giant insect just flew by. And so having had those concerns, what now are the conclusions of those? How have you seen those through now that we're 2 years in on this journey of living here in Medellin?
Well, one of my biggest concerns was the financial stability.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that was like one of the first things that we tackled as we were making that decision. Like, what would it look like if we didn't make it financially here, if it got difficult? And so we both agreed to give ourselves 1 year. And not just the financial part, but what if like one of us didn't like it? You know,
yeah.
What if we weren't happy here?
We had a 12-month break policy conversation clause in the whole thing.
Exactly, yeah, because we've heard of people that were here for 5 months and they were like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm not staying here." And 5 months is not really enough to then all the expense to bring everything back. No, we knew a year, so that was helpful, and just being on the same page as far as the option of going back. Just going back to the States and having a plan B, having a financial cushion in the event things got hard. So I think that was alleviated. That concern that I had was alleviated at the time we made that decision. It's still looming over me on a month-to-month basis because, as you know, entrepreneurship, it takes a while, and it's not for the faint of heart. This is by far the most stressful thing I've ever endured. But it's just life, I guess. So that's, the financial concern was one. The other concern I had was, how would this change affect our marriage dynamics?
Sure.
Working together, being together 24/7, changing the way that we organize our responsibilities with the children. And, that was a huge change. And, I feel like we navigated, pretty organically. The way that we interact has changed a lot, though. And we're not texting each other all the time, not all the time, but I'm not outside of the home, and so that changes things. But I feel like we've done pretty good, about navigating through that. And then I guess my biggest fear also, or not fear, but just concern or question mark was how would my identity change as I was going from being a foreigner in another country, speaking in a second language all the time, being a corporate person, a working mom, just basically that role, to being, a returning expat to my own country, speaking my native language with my family around, going from even like my name identity. I was Paola Tipner there, and here I'm Paola Marin. So, all of those things. And to me, that's probably the one that hasn't fully resolved, because it's like I live in this little bubble inside my house where we speak English all the time. We deal with English-speaking clients in the U.S. Our community of friends are all expats, and most of them are expats, and so we kind of have this little bubble of and we never left the States here. In a way, yeah. But outside of that, I'm all of these other things that I wasn't for the past 17 years before we moved here, and also my role as a daughter. So all of that's still kind of unfolding, and I'm just working through it. Some things have been surprising, but there's a lot to talk about there, so we can cover that later.
Definitely, we will unpack that, as they say, a lot of those topics, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome. I think we're going to make this a regular thing. Next time, maybe I'll talk about my journey a little bit. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching. And this is episode number 2. Please, if you would, subscribe, hit the like button if you could, and please leave a comment. That would be awesome. All you got to do is scroll all the way to the bottom of the post, and you can leave a comment at the bottom and a question. I would love a question, because I wanted to make this a two-way conversation. So if there's anything you want to know or curious about or want us to talk about, please write it down and I will cover it. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
I'm an international